Welcome back to the ultimate checklist for better photos. This is episode 6, and today we're tackling one of the most common, most frustrating, and most easily fixed problems in photography: your background. How many times have you seen or taken a lovely portrait only to notice a lamppost, a tree branch, or a random sign growing straight out of someone's head? We've all done it. And here's the important bit: it's not because you're bad at photography. It's because your brain is doing exactly what it's designed to do: lock onto the subject and ignore everything else. Today I'm going to show you how to override that instinct, and by the end of this video you'll be seeing backgrounds differently and your photos will look cleaner, stronger and more professional as a result. So here's a simple truth: a great subject can absolutely be ruined by a bad background, but a simple, clean background can make an ordinary subject look great. This is because the background is never neutral, even when you think it is. It's still communicating something: shape, tone, color, distraction, or calm. The background is not just what's behind the subject, it's part of the composition. It shares the frame and it competes for attention. And here's the important bit: our eyes don't care what you meant to photograph. They go right to bright areas, sharp details, high contrast, strong shapes, and anything that looks out of place. So if any of those live in the background, they start shouting over your subject. So think of the background like a stage in a theatre production. A good stage set supports the actor and disappears. A bad one steals the show. As photographers, we are not just observers, we are editors. Your job isn't only to choose what goes in the frame, it's to be just as deliberate about what stays out. This is one of the most powerful habits you can build, and it costs nothing. Before you press the shutter, just pause for 2 seconds. That's all it takes. Do a quick, deliberate scan of the edges of the frame, not the middle, the edges. Why? Because your brain is wired to lock onto faces and subjects. It automatically ignores the peripheral stuff. Good photography requires you to override that instinct. So ask yourself, is there anything brighter than my subject? Is there anything sharp or busy pulling my eye away? Are there lines, poles, or shapes intersecting the subject? Is there anything I didn't notice at first glance? This is where most photos fall apart, not in the center, but around the outside. It's a bit like proofreading a piece of writing. You can have a great idea, but if there are spelling mistakes all over the page, that's what people notice. This 2-second check is you proofreading your photo, if that makes sense. And the more you do it, the more automatic this process becomes. Here's the good news: you don't often need to move the subject, you just need to move you. Take 1 step left, 1 step right, maybe lower the camera, raise it, move it closer, or take a step back. And suddenly, that lamppost is gone. The bright patch disappears. The background cleans itself up. And this is why I bang on about moving your feet so much. Composition and background control are often solved with small physical adjustments, not menu diving and big technical changes. I've seen shots transform by moving literally a few centimeters one way or the other. Same subject, same light, but with a completely different result. This is also why zooming is not the same as moving. Zoom changes framing. Moving changes relationships between subject and background. And those relationships are what really matters. One of your most useful and misunderstood tools for controlling backgrounds is depth of field. When you use a wider aperture, the subject stays sharp, the background softens, and distractions lose their power. This is why portraits so often use wide apertures. But here's the important bit: it's not all about creating a nice blurry background. It's about visual priority. Depth of field is your way of telling the viewer, this matters most, look here first, and everything else can wait. A really useful way to think about this is stage lighting. Imagine a spotlight on a performer. They're sharp, clear, and bright. The rest of the stage falls away. Depth of field does the same job. It directs attention. But, and this is important, blur is not a magic eraser. A very bright, very messy background can still be distracting even when it is out of focus. So use depth of field to support good background choices, not to rescue poor ones. And good photography is almost never one big decision. It's a load of small intentional choices, each one making the next one easier. Here's a sneaky one that catches a lot of people out. Light just doesn't hit your subject. It hits everything in the frame. And our eyes are magnetically drawn to light. A small patch of sunlight in the background, even one you hardly noticed, can completely steal attention. This is why background light is just as important as subject light. So when you're checking your background, don't just look for objects, look for brightness. Then ask yourself, where's the light falling? Is it creating hotspots, drawing the eye away from the subject, picking out clutter or unwanted detail? Here's the good news. This is very often easy to fix. Sometimes you just need to turn the subject slightly, wait a few seconds for a cloud, or move so the bright area falls behind you and not in the frame. Think of light like a highlighter pen. Wherever it goes, the viewer's eye follows. Use that to your advantage and make sure it's highlighting the right thing. This is a huge mindset shift and one of the clearest signs that a photographer is starting to see more intentionally. Beginners often ask, what can I add to make this more interesting? Experienced photographers ask the opposite. What can I remove without losing the story? Simplification is not about taking the life out of a photo. It's about giving the important part room to breathe. Simple backgrounds make the subject stronger, make compositions clearer, make photos feel more confident and deliberate. And this doesn't mean bland or boring. It means purposeful. A textured wall, a soft line of trees, a clean sky, or a deep shadow can all work really well, but only if they support the subject and don't compete with it. If the background is asking for attention at the same time as your subject, you have a problem. So simplify, and then when you think you simplified enough, take one more look and ask yourself, what else could quietly disappear? Very often, that final small removal is what makes the image feel strong and intentional. And here's a great practice exercise if you're up for it. Find one subject, a person, a chair, a sign, a tree, anything really. Then take one photo without moving and 3 more by only moving your feet. Don't change the subject, don't change the light, just change your position. Then compare the results. You'll quickly see how much control you actually have by simply moving your feet. And if you want to share your results, our Photography Foundations community over on School is a great place to do it. Friendly feedback, no judgment, and lots of learning. So let's quickly sum all this up. Backgrounds matter as much as subjects. Scan the edges of the frame. Move your feet first. Use depth of field with intent. Watch where the light falls. Simplify, then simplify again. So photography isn't just about what you include, it's about what you choose to leave out as well. When you take control of the background, your subject finally gets the attention it deserves. And here's the really encouraging part. This is a skill you can practice anywhere. No new gear, no expensive upgrades, just awareness and intent. And if you want a simple framework to help you make these decisions more consistently, I've put together an ebook called The 3 Essential Pillars of Good Photography. It covers exposure, focus, and composition in a clear, practical way. You can download it for free when you sign up for the newsletter. Link is in the description. And once you've cleared up the frame, that's when you can start playing with angles and viewpoint, which is exactly what we're doing next time. In episode 7, we're talking about perspective and how changing your viewpoint can completely transform a photo. If this video helped, give it a like and subscribe if you haven't already. Totally free, and it definitely helps others find the channel. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.